to go 1, 2, 3. You go wild and crazy. Off 3. 1, 2, 3. Patrick Spicer, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. How you doing? All right? Yeah, nice to meet you all. I'm glad to see so many of you drinking tonight. You're all drinking. Almost all of my friends were doing Sober October. I don't know if any of you guys were doing that. It was awful. I got to the point that so many of my friends were doing Sober October, I had to stop calling them friends. I had to stop. To be fair, they weren't all doing Sober October. Some of them were doing Dry January. I've got my own one. It's coming up. It's called Just Take Responsibility for Your Decisions Without Wordplay, April. Don't know if you're doing that one. It's a good one. You can do it in private. It's good. It's difficult, you know. We've got a wonderful drinking culture in this country. Although my girlfriend doesn't see it the same way. She's Dutch. So she thinks we just like puking outside. I don't get it. She thinks that we've got a real problem with public vomiting. I disagree, you know. She thinks that it's antisocial. I don't agree with that, you know. If you see someone puking in the street, join in. You know? Doesn't have to be antisocial. So I don't get it. But the Dutch are weird too when it comes to drinking. Like, I was having dinner with her family the other day, and I sat down and we were having dinner, and they did this weird thing where they poured a glass of wine, and that was it. One glass of wine. Until that point, I didn't realise alcohol came in multiples of 1. In my family, the unit of measurement is until mum gets loud. That's when you cut back. But I love drinking. I like wine. I like drinking beer. My favourite beer is a Belgian beer. It's called Delirium Tremens. Yeah. Are you guys Belgian? No. Just fans of drinking. Have you tried the beer, Delirium Tremens? Yeah, it's good for anyone who hasn't had it. It's very good. It's an 8.5% beer. It'll really get you puking in the street. It's good stuff. But Delirium Tremens, for those who don't know what it means, it's Latin. It's a medical term, and it means withdrawal from alcoholism, which in many cases leads to death. That's what they named the beer. That's how good this beer is. Like, you probably wouldn't go bungee jumping if the name of the company was like Recklessly Loose Harnesses. Would you? It would be like, I've got the new Harley Davidson. Oh, which one? It's the Shattered Pelvis Edition. It's crazy. I think it's weird. But I'm trying to drink less. I'm trying to get my life together generally. It's a fucking mess. Fuck you. It is. It's a real problem. It's going terribly. I recently had to move back in with my dad. Have any of you guys ever had to move back in with my dad? No. I don't like. He's an alright guy. He's a nice guy. I think. I don't really know anything about him. He's just kind of a guy that I saw when I was a teenager. I see him walking around the house. I just think, he seems nice. You know? Should I introduce myself, or I don't know. This is a weird guy. The other thing I don't like about living with him is he's a doctor, so he thinks he's much better than me. You know, my whole take on this people being doctors thing is, who cares? All right? Big deal. Some people are doctors, yeah? Some people follow their dreams, right? Become stand-up comedians, yeah? Who are financially dependent on doctors. No big deal. But it's very hard. It's hard to make money doing stand-up comedy. I've been trying to make money at this for about 3 years now. I can honestly say at this point, I don't think it can be done. I don't think it's possible. I think in the history of comedy, no comedian has ever owned a car. Right? I think Jimmy Carr has a day job in Pret. You know? At least that's what it says in his tax return. Thanks. it's very hard to make money, you know. Like I don't really have any money to do things. When I'm not doing this, I'm mostly just like sitting in a chair, you know, because it's comfortable and it's free. Right? A little tip. And also, it's very hard. It's very hard doing comedy sometimes. Like, you guys are very nice, but we have horrible gigs. I had a gig about a month ago. I came out, I did all my best jokes, and it was like silence. Right, there's not a laugh in the house. Thank you. I'm here for laughs and pity. I'll take it. Genuinely, it was not a laugh in the house. And then all at once, the whole audience stood up and walked out. Right. Yeah. Okay, some of you aren't imagining this, guys. The whole audience, right? He stood up. He stood up and he left. It was one guy. I don't think that's going to happen with you guys because you've been so lovely already. But if it does, I promise I won't follow you all to the car park. Right? Finish my set there. Like I did with Dad. Good old Dad. Yeah, but it is difficult. And I have genuinely so little money. I think that's maybe the point of being young, is not having any money. None of my friends have money, although I just found out my best friend Jack hasn't got any money, but he's making a terrible financial decision. He's going to have a baby. I was like, what a ridiculously expensive thing to do. How are you going to afford that thing and your cocaine habit? What? And this is a guy, like, I don't think this guy should be having a baby, honestly. Like, I would never tell him that, obviously, that's too harsh. I'll just tell all of you. I don't think he should be having a baby. This guy, he takes a lot of drugs, like, and he takes them at the worst possible times. Like, he once drove from Leeds to London out of his mind on MDMA because he'd had a large cup of coffee, and he said, and I quote, "Don't worry, Patrick, it cancels it out." No, it doesn't, Jack. Those are both stimulants. What you've done there is doubled your problems. That's crazy. He also takes a drug called DMT a lot, which is like, it's a very powerful psychedelic drug. Was that a fuck off as in you take DMT, or? Have you taken DMT? Whilst driving. You fuck off. No way, you can't. I'll tell you what DMT actually is, and then you'll see if that's possibly true. DMT is the chemical that your brain releases in the moments before you die. Right. And basically people smoke it as a laugh. I just don't think that makes sense, because surely, like, when you do eventually die and you're right about to pass over to the other side, your last waking thought as a human being is going to be, this is like Jack's stag do. Seems dangerous. And I don't take drugs. I don't personally take drugs. I'm not a brave guy. I'm a big coward. I've been mugged once in my entire life. The guy said, "Can I see your phone?" And I gave it to him so quickly, I think he was startled. Like, whoa. But I don't think life needs to be this, like, horrible state of fight or flight, you know? There's a third option, guys. Surrender. Just give up. So I don't take drugs. I did take drugs once in my life. I took ecstasy when I was 13. That's because as a teenager I was kind of a legend. I was a very cool kid. It's true. I took it. It's a moment in my life that I think of as a boyhood mistake, and my therapist describes as a pivotal moment. And it was bad. I do have to go. It ended up being a pretty bad experience. But I'm not going to leave you with, like, a depressing, sad story. Because I will say it was fine in the end, because I realised, you know, you can just drink a cup of coffee. That's it. You guys have been very nice. My name's Patrick Spicer. Thanks very much.
Patrick Spicer.